afternoon and welcome to a special Islandstats Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me, I think, uh, is Coach Kita, Coach Naquita Robinson. Good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm okay. How's been the day after such an emotional ride last night at the National Sports Center?
Listen, I knew that this was going to be tough. I knew that, regardless of the result of the match, that I was going to have an emotional day today, and it has lived up to that. I have been reading messages from the general public, messages from my players, messages from ex-players, and very heartwarming, because this journey hasn't always been one that's had ups. There have been some times when it's been down, but it's always been worth it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
after the match last night, I mean, if I'm gonna go out, that's the way I want to go out. With such an emphatic um match.
Yeah, after the first 25 minutes, it wasn't what you were hoping for, was it?
On other, in any sense of the word, result, my position. Yeah, it definitely wasn't what we had planned. It definitely wasn't what we had signed up for. But it's the game, right? You can plan as much
Hmm.
as you want, but at the end of the day, your opponents, the surface officials, there are certain things that's going to dictate the result. So, it's not it's not how we wanted it to go, but it's how it ended up. But again, that's the game, right?
Right, right. Well, you know, I want to take you back, obviously, to when this all started. You, um, Vance, with the support of somebody like Gregory Grimes, wanted
Hmm.
to get women's football back to somewhat, involved because it had become stagnant
Hmm.
after a while. Take us back to when just those talks alone that the vision that you guys sat down and had, the back and forth.
Yeah, well, we knew that football was in the need of revamping, and we knew that we had to revitalize. We knew that we had to do something more. And Vance, Aaron, and myself, we sat down and said, "Listen, what does this look like?" And I said, "Excuse me, sorry." I said, "It looks like starting from the beginning." So we had a measuring stick. Danny Watson was 12, Akila Ferber was 23 at the time, and we said, "That's our measuring stick. Let's see what we could do with players that age and where we will go in 7 years." And that's what we set out to do. By 2022, excuse me, sorry, by 2022, we had won some 15, some 17, some 20s, and it's like, oh wow, this is start of something great. So that's how it came about. That's how we started. That was our goal from the beginning, was to make sure women's football had some sort of sustainability, and
Right.
that's how we got to where we are.
Yeah. It wasn't easy starting out because, like you said, you had the Denny Watsons and others, who are still with the squad today, starting out, and Aquila also with the squad. Um, you know, that challenge right away was, where do we start at? I mean, we want to do the basics. We want to get the girls understanding what this level of football is like, and take us through that because everybody was learning together, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, so what we decided to do was we said, listen, that's our measuring stick. These are the players that are going to play from the 15 straight up to the senior women. And yes, in the beginning, it's going to be rough. We're going to take some licks. We're going to be young, but we're going to learn together. And that's what the magic of this team is that this team stuck together through all those years as we learned together, and experienced some magical moments. So
Hmm.
we really were learning on the job as a whole staff. Many included equipment managers we've had. Everybody was learning together, and like I said, it wasn't always easy. There are some rough days. Like there's some tournaments we went to and conceded 20 goals and scored one or two. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
And still today, some of the powerhouses that's out there were the ones that were putting some licks in us back then, but they've done some things differently, And I play against a Jamaica team or a Haiti team that's speaking perfect American English. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't this is what we thought we was coming up against. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Looking at them working in their regions and what they were doing in their regions was like, yeah, we can get closer to them, but the more they go to the US side and get those professional players, we still got our mountain to climb and we punch above our weight. But that was genuinely our idea as to
Mhm.
how we're gonna start to compete with those teams.
Yeah. After a few years of getting going, and then we win that B division in the CONCACAF region. Obviously, now you have another measuring stick because we were conquering the countries underneath the powerhouses kind of thing at that age group. What was the talk around how the next few years would be when after that period?
Well, yeah, we were in a really good stride then, but then COVID hit, right? So
Hmm.
once COVID came in, it kind of dampened some things. So we never got to see that same group finish out their U17 championship and then their U20 championship. So it was almost a jump from that U15B to senior
Hmm.
women, um, because everything stopped because of COVID. So we had to be creative in the things that we decided to do, and at the end of the day, I think that we done well. These young women have persevered through quite a bit of stuff. You know, they know when they're coming up against some powerhouses, what the outcome possibly could be, but they have a never say die attitude, and that is one of the things that I think um, has kept me going for so many years. Is because I know that they are the ones that are putting in the work. They're the ones that are going out on the field. They're the ones who are getting criticized. You know what I mean? And I mean, I get my bit of criticism too, which is fine. I'll take it as an individual, but it's not always easy, as a player to be able to accept that type of criticism. But we always knew what we were up against. We always knew what our goal was. Did we always achieve it? No, but we at least set out to.
Mm. And we talk about these players and their growth over the years. We've seen the likes of Ava and Kiana, Kashela. These girls are playing over abroad now. We have the professionals in Nia and Leilani and others. But we watched them, like you said, when you started at what, 12 years old, 12, 13,
Yeah. Mhm.
and watch them grow into the women they are today, both on and off the field.
No, absolutely, and it's one of the most amazing things. I penned a letter to my players yesterday morning, and in that letter I spoke about that, like to see that you guys have grown, in your careers, mothers, um, soon to be wives. It's just been an amazing journey on and off the pitch. So it's bigger than football, and once we understand that it's bigger than the game, then things kind of fall into place and make it a lot easier. But to having to watch Danny Watson at 12 years old and see the player that she has become um, over the years is quite amazing for me. Yeah, Ava's another player, and they picked up at about 15, 16, and just to see how far she's come and the things that she's done. Victoria Davis. I mean, I can call the entire team, but to watch their growth, not just as players, but as women, has been nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, I remember you and I having a conversation at Shelley Bay when the girls were getting ready to go. And we, like, in that conversation, I saw what your vision was because you had an idea, you had a plan with the other coaches of what you wanted to achieve in these tournaments when they were young. Like you said, not all the time did you meet the girls you expected to meet, but it was at least you had a plan set out and how we're going to grow from here. I know you remember those conversations because they were like yesterday in the grand scheme of things, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we had you and I definitely have had a lot of off the record conversations about the things that I wanted to do and how I wanted this to pan out. And I would say for the most part, it has panned out the way it has according to how we wanted it, based off of resources, based off, we have a small population.
Hmm.
Um, and our goal is still to kind of grow our numbers in age groups. So I still want to one day go to an under 17 tournament that has all 17-year-olds. With especially with the change in the format,
Hmm.
you can have people that are going 17 in the year to still play. It would be a phenomenal thing. And to have you're gonna always have your one or two that's good enough, so they're old enough. So the 15 and 16 or 14 and 15-year-olds that are good enough to play at under 17. But having the majority of the team be 17 is quite something we would like to still achieve at some point.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend and an assistant coach to come and talk to you, Brother
Oh
Vance.
yeah, oh
Can you
yeah,
hear me, Vance?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
sure
you,
can,
Vance. Yes,
my
Hey,
boy.
yes.
how you doing?
So Vance, you've been on this ride with Coach Kita for it's been a journey. You two have more conversations about football when all this started than anybody else could ever imagine. Just take us through some of the things that you and Kita have worked together towards what we saw at the end of the result last night.
Yeah, it's been a while. As I said too, I was probably one of the few people that can say I've watched her play and coach, and see growth in both, in player and as a coach. And definitely, when we started, it was difficult. Um, but now to see the fruits of the labor that both she and I have put in, and to quite a good extent, I'm not scared to say that she probably did most of the groundwork, and you know I did some stuff, but she probably did most of the groundwork, and I'm appreciative, and I value what she's done for the game.
Mm. Coach, you have your one of your first coaches, and also then an assistant coach or part of a team that worked to build women's football.
No, definitely. Coach Vance is, he's one of the main mentors behind everything that I've done. We do remember the story of how I became a coach because he dropped me, and I thought I was at the prime of my career. I thought I was great, and he dropped me, and he's like, sit on this one, humble yourself, and I did, and I want other players to take a page out of that book. That hey, just relax. Bide your time. I came back later and I did play under him in the national program, but I'll never forget that day and that moment and how it actually changed and shaped my life. But I still talk to Coach Vans about stuff. I'll show up at the office, and even now, I'm still gonna talk to him about stuff. So, like I said, I tell people the chapter's closed, not the book. I'm still gonna be a student of the game. I'm still gonna want to learn and grow in this game and help in any way that I can. But he was the one that had to fight in the beginning and to try to just get the best that he could out of us as players. With very little resources. The game has grown and evolved so much, and the resources have become a lot more readily available. I can remember him there, struggling with a few footballs up at Jim Field, which is now Clyde Bass
Mhm.
field, but didn't think it any robbery or anything. When he was working as a prison officer, trying to manage his schedule, sometimes coming to train us and then go and work that 8 to 8 shift. Um, so we have to remember those people that set the trend. Before I came, people that put in the work himself, Jeremy, Randall Fabric. There were people that was there that um came in and started this and made it a little bit easier for me to continue to push it forward, which I hope is the same thing the next coach has, a little easier to advance.
Yeah. Well, Vance, as Coach Kita has said, she's ended the chapter but not closed the book. So what would be your message to her? Sitting face to face kind of thing. On that next page, because the book is open, so we're just turning the page.
Yeah, so she's taking a rest, so she rests and rejuvenate herself, and let's get back good, because we both have more to give to the game. And I believe that. I don't think both of our chapters have closed. I think we both got more to give to the game. And because I don't know about her, but I'm still young. So, I feel, as soon as I get my health back in order, I'm back on the field. I'm ready.
Inspiring her to look to get back as soon as possible. No, because someone like you and others who have put in time and effort with women's football, you guys can't let it just go idly by, because it's been yours and others' stamp of approval as to where we are today.
Certainly agree.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I saw the comment that popped up just now, and there are so many others, so many more that have shaped the things that we have done. But if we're speaking as far as national, I was only naming the national team coaches, so not to disrespect anyone else. But there have been many that have paved the way for us in women's football, and still do things in the footballing community to make sure that the next generation, be it male or female, are getting good opportunities.
Yeah, without a doubt. When we start looking at, and I'll go back to 2016. Was probably one of the hardest tournaments you guys went in the summer. You faced what we consider the powerhouses, and the girls. It was a concern that we would be able to keep the girls motivated and wanting to play more, as opposed to, I don't know about taking this type of licks. It was you guys who actually had to keep convincing the girls that we're on the right track. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely a something for us as coaches as well to get over the hurdle, because that could deflate you. If you didn't have a plan or view for something bigger. I mean, but when you're playing against those powerhouses, like you don't know what to expect.
Right.
Just
Sorry, Coach.
No, it's finished.
And that's 100% it, right? You knew you were playing against the powerhouses. You knew what was possibly going to be the outcome. Coach Vance and I was on the sideline in Florida. We went down to 10 man against a U.S. team. We was climbing a mountain with 11. And next thing you know, we're down to 10 man. But again, it's the resilience of the players that make our job so easy. The resilience of is their willingness and them understanding that representing their country is such an honor. It's not a right. It's a privilege to represent their country, and they look forward to doing it over and over and over.
Yeah. Actually, I have a comment from a player.
Hey, Coach Kita. I just want to say thank you again for all that you've done, not just for me, but for this national team and for women's football in Bermuda. Thank you for always believing in us and pushing us to go farther than what we thought was possible. I'm forever grateful to have been able to call you my coach.
Ooh. Yeah. Could have had a little, could have given me a little warning. It's been an emotional 24 hours, man. I haven't cried this much ever. Jeez. But yeah, to see Nia Christopher and what she's had to endure and where she's come. Those are the moments for us as coaches. Those are success stories for us. We won a World Cup. We know all of that. But when you see the little Bermudians getting to play on these big stages, Iceland, I've never been to Iceland. I mean, I've never been interested in going. But, what an opportunity to live in a different part of the world and to have success while she's there. So Yeah, and thanks a lot, man. Thank you for that.
Well, I got another surprise for you.
Oof.
Jaden,
Oof.
welcome.
Ah,
You got your
just a
coaches
little,
there?
just a little side message could have helped me.
No side messages. No side messages. Well, Jaden, do you have anything you want to add to, Coach? You've ended your international career, your career of playing, but now you want to step into somebody's shoes, like the two people on the screen in Coach Vance and Coach Kia.
Well, Earl, wait, just before she goes, um, I've never had the privilege of coaching Jaden. Every time
Okay.
I go to coach a team, she was injured or unavailable.
Okay.
So I didn't take it
Oops.
personal.
Okay.
Wasn't you, coach? I can promise you that.
Uh, no,
Good.
it might be emotional for you, but I feel like this last month all over for me again. But I mean, I'm giving you flowers for a long time, but to be able to finally publicly do it, when Earl Basin messaged me, I was like, yes, please, like let me come on. But honestly, just one thank you, but thank you for opening my eyes to, what God can do in people's lives. I remember I took me to church and I was like, can you come up to the altar with me? And from then it's just, I've seen what God could do in my life, but also everybody else's. But thank you, both you and Coach Vance. You guys never counted me out when others did count me out. But at the same time, I gained a mother figure and a father figure in that, and I gained a family and brothers for the rest of my life. But your legacy you left behind is just a testament to you and everything that you've done for this country and football as a whole. And I don't ever want that to get overlooked. There's people that's counted you out. And I've been there like, no, you're still the best. You're still somebody that I want you to lead this country to do great things, and we was able to do that both together. And even before I came in the picture, but just you made us play for something greater than ourselves. Everything that you sacrificed for us, you sacrificed family time and anniversaries. I think this year will probably be your first anniversary able to actually enjoy it.
For sure.
But you paved the way for us, and I think that you've left like a great blueprint, for me to walk into if it's in God's will. But just thank you, man. Like I can't thank you enough. I feel like I've been thanking you every other day since I walked off the pitch for the last time. But I'm glad that you was able to get your moment and shoot, there was no better way for it to end. You deserve to go the way you ran out, and I'm glad that you was able to do that in front of the fans.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Jaden is always going to have that special place, in my heart. Very resilient individual, and from 12 years old, when I saw this little person playing, I'm like, hey, yo, who's this little girl? We got to get her in the program. She may be young, but if you're good enough, you're good enough. And so, and to the public, I didn't resign after I learned that Jaden was abandoning it because trust and believe I was trying to get her to last longer than me. But and she said it in her interview. I'm sure I said it in mine. That you just know when it's time, right? And both of us have left our legacy within the women's game in Bermuda. And oh my goodness, I don't even know how I'll be able to react the day I see her walk out as the head coach of Bermuda. I mean, that'll be a testament. I mean, what greater thanks than to have one of your walk out and actually be the women's head coach, which I'm gonna go and say I'm sure Coach Vance felt that way at some point. Having been my club coach, turned national coach, and to see one of his own players then step into his shoes to continue his work. So it's the same feeling. It's just now passing the baton, like take your it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Jaden, you know, what you were able to do in your career was something that I think, you know, when you look back at it, Coach Kita brought you in and allowed you to express yourself as she does all her players. Be yourself. We're going to play to a system, but be yourself. And I think that's something I can remember talking to Coach Vance about years ago with the women's game. You know, you want them to be able to express themselves and play, you know, show what their ability is, and be proud of what your ability is, and do what you like to do. Vance, when you see somebody like Jaden, who over the years, like you said, was, you know, constantly on the sideline due to injury, but determined to get back and play football. And I think that's something that you guys should be proud of, because you encouraged her not to give up. And she already said that it was through a lot of advice from you guys that she wouldn't give up.
Oh yeah, any young player that has the opportunity to listen to this, or whether it be now or in the future, they definitely need to take a page out of Jaden's book. She's had so much adversity in her career, just the football part of it, and always seems to come back. When I heard that, you know, she's thinking about retiring, I thought it was a joke, because I said, not Jaden. She don't give up that easy. But like she said, when it's your time, you know when it's your time. And, you know, she's the type of person that I will always want to have around my team, just encouraging other players. And she'll give you, she'll put her heart into doing anything, even if it's bringing water to the players. She'll do anything for the team.
Yeah. Coach, I do have another surprise for you. I have the president of the Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Wade.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Listen. All right. Okay, cool. You win. Earl, you win. I can see you win.
It wasn't about that. I just wanted to invite some people on to acknowledge what you have been able to accomplish. You and others have been able to accomplish over this span of these years, and what it means to Bermuda. Now we have a platform to now springboard on. You know what I mean? So, Mr. President, you've had somebody on staff longer than you've been in the presidency. What would you say to someone in like a national?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, let me just say you have a wealth of knowledge and experience on this little coal here. I'm in some esteemed company right now.
100%.
Yeah, no, I mean, I joined the executive of the BFA in 2010, and I was the player development committee chair until 2016 when I became the president. So yes, I think coach's senior women's coaching career parallels my journey on the executive, really. So I just started to recall some of these early days, meeting all the way down St. David's. I don't know if you remember that, Coach. You came to a meeting.
TBI.
TBI. So yeah, no, I mean, there's some of the early days, and you know, prior to some significant investment from FIFA. So, you know, from the president's standpoint, you know, I think of the humble beginnings. I still remember when the BFA's budget from FIFA was $250,000, and we were trying to develop players and participate in international competition with that. And here we are now with, you know, 12 teams. So, and yes, you know, Naquita's been a huge part of that. The driving force behind it, really. And I as I when you first asked me to come on the call, then I started to think like of all the conversations where she held us accountable. I think one of the accolades was making sure that the women's game improved and where coach was holding us accountable sometimes. So it is really 10 years. I don't know how you can put that in this one little short call, to be honest. I'll say that, even me, I remember sending her off to Nicaragua. and we didn't want to send her. I'm going to be honest. We didn't want to send her because she had just had a baby, right?
Right.
And, okay, again, held us accountable. And off she went. And then all of a sudden, no, I have a new mother in Nicaragua under some civil unrest.
Stuck.
And I'll say, the one phone call I had before, I felt relieved because to hear her voice and she was calm and we had to get him out of the country and home, and that was another another interest. I'm gonna call it an interesting time between speaking to the folks on the ground and speaking to the government and thinking about we have to call the British embassy and get helicopters down there to get our team. So it's definitely been a journey, a rewarding one. And as Coach said, she said she hopes we let her hang around. I'm gonna say it a different way. She's gonna hang around. We're gonna find a rule. We're gonna find a rule because there is like I said, it's a wealth of experience that we can't lose. And even I see you didn't tell me who was gonna be on the call, so I see my patient that I was driving around in IMG, and I'm gonna say the same thing. That's a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge. And I heard Vance talking about how he would want Jaden around the team, even if she's not playing. So I heard that. So we got some work to do to try and rule for Jaden. That's football, right? And we have to build on what we have, and we have to kind of keep the experience and knowledge to make sure that we continue to advance. And that's a tall order, I think. But I think between myself, Maurice, and the rest of the PDC, we're all for the challenge to make sure that women's football and the national teams continue to go forward and improve, right? I mean, in the weeks and leading up to this, obviously I knew for a while, but when we started to research and say, okay, what are we gonna do? Because this is and we're not finished. I'm gonna tell Coach right now, I'm not finished. Just in case you think so, we're not finished. But just doing the research really, and just going back over emails and seeing, oh man, like I forgot about this and I forgot about that. And, this is a lot. So I'll say it again. I've told Coach multiple times. I'll say it again. Thank you, and your legacy is secure. But
thank you.
We're gonna build another one. We're gonna
We'll talk.
Someday.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Let me figure it out.
Hey, Errol, I remember one of our second meetings was at Burnaby Street, and I said, "Listen, I was telling you about the measuring stick." And the president looked, and he said, "So what you saying? We're not gonna enter senior tournaments?" I said, "Yeah, we are. And we're gonna take some licks initially,
Right.
but we'll climb the ladder." And he said, "Okay, sounds like you have a plan," and supported it. I have to be honest. Supported it. Never have I expressed anything that I would like to do or want to do where he's come back and said that's not gonna happen. And that is one of the things that's helped this program to grow. And I say that publicly because I truly and honestly believe that there have been hiccups, but when it's been an idea that I think can help us move forward, I have felt supported.
Mr. President, like the program when it started, how was last night? He started off looking like it wasn't going to be a successful night, but in the end, the program won. Wouldn't you agree?
Here's the conversation I had with Minister Darrell, and this kind of sums up my view of the Senior Women's National Program coach and the whole staff. Minister Darrell said to me at 3-0, "Hey man, are these girls better than us?" I looked him straight in the eye and said, "No, they're not. So you just wait." And so say so none. I didn't dream it was going to be 5,
Right.
but I knew we weren't going to lose. Like, you know what I mean? That was our conversation. And you know, if you speak to him, he'll repeat the words I said. No, they're not. So yeah, no, it sums up. It for me the game and the night in total really. It was one of those nights you just enjoyed it from start to finish, you know. To watch the girls kind of battle back, even and when I saw the red car come out, I'm like, well, who and what? Right?
Mark, first person I thought of, I said, just pulled a Randy Horton on us. Just taking the card for the team.
Randy Horton. You want to name a few more?
Yeah.
Hey, Costa Rica's head coach got sent off last night too. She lasted 10 more minutes than I did.
You know,
She did.
But the reaction was what you wanted to see, right? You know,
Absolutely.
coach goes to bat for the players. The players say, "All right, we're gonna bring it in. We're gonna bring it in."
Right.
But Earl, she might as well have still been on the bench because she started off behind me, then ended up down on the fence, on the railing. Then back behind me, then back on the railing. She's still there.
But Mark, let me tell you, I watched it online, and it was only one voice I heard the entire time after she left the bench. I was like, oh, she's still up here. Oh my gracious, they done the worst thing because
exactly. Maybe that, you know. But no, it was a good night all around. Even to have Fireman perform, and you know, it was timely because he got the crowd back into it. You know, listen, like it's 3-2, and you know, let's get the crowd back in it. So you know that was good. And then of course the performance in the second half. What more could you want? So you know, to the fans that didn't come, no, you know, don't count, especially the senior women. Do not count them out of anything, and you will be entertained. You know, so there you go.
Yeah. I know Coach Kita is got a lot of things to do. She's busy. She's getting ready for school tomorrow, I guess, and a lot of other things. But I do want to just allow each and every one of you to say a final thank you or whatever you want to say to Coach Kita. And Jaden, I will start with you.
Just literally reiterating what I said earlier and for the past couple of weeks. Just thank you. I can't thank you enough. I'm forever in debt to you. And again, you've left a legacy, and it will forever be remembered. Like your name's stamped in the history book.
Yeah. Mr. President?
My words are short. I'll see you soon.
I said, listen, the chapter's closed. It's the end of the chapter, but the book is not closed. Not to worry. Not to worry. I've been on the phone today with Don Vickers. I've been on the phone today with Kimmy. I was just like, all right, cool, guys. Yeah, you got some of my time now.
and Coach Vance?
All right, so now we move on to part two. Part one's
Yes,
complete
sir.
for both of us.
Yes, sir.
So part two now. Let's get
Thank
rolling.
you very much.
See you
Thank you,
soon.
guys. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. You have helped to shape who I am. Not just as a coach, but as a person. Um, each of you have challenged me in different ways at different times. And believe me when I tell you, even if it's sometimes you didn't think I listened, when I laid my head on my pillow, that door came to mind. And a lot of times, if I was like, nah, by the end of the day, I'm like, you know what, they're probably right. And I look to make the adjustments or make the change, with both ideas. And the association has been my second home. Like both of my sons still don't. It's a key word in the yard today after golf, and he said, "So, mama, no second thoughts." I'm like, you want me to have second thoughts? He's like, I do. He's like, I don't know you as anything else. He's like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Mr. President, the day I handed you guys the letter, I forgot I had a second one in the car. I remember I left to go pick up stage and from training, and I took in KFC. When I got back in the car, he is crying. He is a blubbering mess. I'm like, Station, what's wrong? He's like, why aren't you going to coach anymore? I can only get through the first paragraph, mama. He said, I can't read the rest of this letter. What are you doing? And I'm like, oh boy. So all the way home from KFC, I got to explain to the baby what's really going on. And it's just like, he says to me this morning, he's like, so we're not going to stay at Guadalupe anymore? I said, take it easy. And I mean, but it's been my life, and thank God, that he has sustained me through this. And to my family, my village has been absolutely amazing. A lot of my cousins are mad with me because I didn't tell them that was gonna be my last game, so they didn't. I said, you got to come and see the players. Come watch the players. Don't come for me. But I've had a strong village behind me from start to finish. From Sammy, from my nephew, from my brother, just everybody, just supporting me. And it's just been a phenomenal ride. And I can't thank everybody enough, but I'm still here. I'm still Coach Kita. And I got a couple of my players now saying they're going to get their coaching licenses, which is like such the most amazing feeling ever to know that I left that legacy, that they actually want to do this job.
Well, one thing, you and I can continue to have our conversations.
I can come on the show now. I can come back on the show now. That's some time. I'm gonna go watch football now on the weekend. I'm not gonna be home on Sundays planning what my sessions are gonna be like for the following week. Not yet. Not until I have my conversation with the president.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll try to be a fly on the wall for that one.
For sure.
All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to come on and share your founding memories with Coach Kita, and just thanking her for her time. And we look forward to that next page. Both you and Vance. I really, want to support you guys in the best way I can in making sure that your stories are told. And the fact that you put yourselves on the line for so many other people to grow, not just, like you said, Coach, into mothers, into wives, into the women they are today, using sport, using football as a measuring stick. So thank you.
Earl, one last fact, right? I always tell people that both me and Kita only have sons,
That's right.
Oh.
And we have a lot of daughters. And a lot of daughters. and a lot of daughters.
Okay.
We only have two. We both only have two sons and a lot of daughters.
There you go. Yes. Well, from all your daughters from Bermuda, let me say thank you. And we look forward to seeing you, whatever you decide to do. President, whatever you decide to do with Coach Kita, whatever you decide to do, we'll be watching.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bermuda's going to be watching.
For sure. Thank you very much, guys.
Well,
have a good evening.
Okay, enjoy your evening, folks. All right.
Enjoy your evening, everybody.